So, what was it actually like on set?
Being on set was amazing. Yeah, I've had some experience before. I'm sure Patrick and we've all had some experience, but it was interesting. Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
It was great. Our chemistry as a cast, I think, was really strong and it was really good. So everyone's energy was just bouncing off of each other and we had a really good time.
But is it true, Rhianna, that this was your first movie?
This is
You've
my
done
first.
theatre work, haven't you?
I've done theatre work and I've done a bit of TV, but this is the biggest job I've done before and it's my first film. So it was a bit intimidating when I first walked on set to see how big everything was, but yeah, I ended up having an amazing time.
So you made a lot of friends.
Yeah, we did. Friends for life.
Yes. And do you know that for Rhianna and Louis, being on the set didn't just mean learning lines and acting and being made up. You have to do schoolwork as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
There was a lot of going back and forth from this tutor bus. We had to spend 3 hours of our day just learning and reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In all the scenes that you were using a sword, did you actually learn how to wield a sword? And how did that work?
Yeah, we did actually. There was about a period of 2 months before we started filming where we had to do horse riding and sword fighting and fitness, and that's where we learned how to properly sword fight, and it was really fun.
Yeah, and then on set we wouldn't fight with real swords because that's really dangerous, but we'd have the real swords to get the heaviness of it, and then we would swap it out for plastic swords, and then we'd use the weight of the real sword, imagine what that would be like, and put it on the plastic sword so that our performances looked as real as possible.
You know, it's not commonly known, but there is an aspect of being an actor which is not just to do with learning lines and saying them in an interesting and unusual way, or, you know, having to hit marks and so forth. But sometimes, like you did with the fighting, like you did with the driving, because you're not a driver, are you, Rhianna?
I'm not.
That you have to learn a skill. And I've always loved it when in movies I've had to learn something which is entirely different to what my life is like. And recently I did a movie where I played a pianist. And I don't play the piano at all. But I spent 4 months before we began filming learning not to play the piano, because that would take too long, but learning to look as if I could play the piano. And people don't know about those things, but it's so much fun. I find it fun anyway.
I bet.
Well, my favourite scene was when you were riding through the forest on the horses, away from them. What were your favourite scenes?
My favourite scene was probably when we were doing the sword fighting. You know, when we were learning how to fight against those trees, and that was really fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was hard, but it was challenging and fun. Yeah.
I think one of my favourite scenes was when we were in Morgana's cavern. We were on the way to her lair, and it's really dark and eerie and spooky, because for us we were on harnesses and we were attached to strings, so it was really cool to be pulled up and stuff and be dropped down. Yeah, it was a good scene.
Oh, you're looking at me. Sorry. The most exciting part was there's a scene when there's all the stuff flying around in the room, and suddenly a plastic coffee mug appears in my hand. Well, that wasn't a trick. It wasn't a special effect done afterwards. There was a man standing higher up than me, out of the shot, dropping the coffee cup, and I had to catch it. And I failed to catch it, I don't know how many times. And then finally, I think when they were about to abandon the shot, I caught it. And I felt very proud of myself.
That would probably make anyone proud.
Yes, that's a good point.
Actually, so, thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Mum, don't freak out, okay? Lady of the Lake, please return Excalibur.